We're at the Huldekleger Lilac Gardens.
And we want to welcome all of you to a new episode of Garden Time.
Welcome to Garden Time. We are at the Huldekleger Lilac Gardens in front of their new entry pavilion.
And later on we're going to be talking to Ruth because the lilacs are hitting their peak bloom this weekend.
And also, coming up in the show today, we'll show you some pollinator plants.
We'll also take you to a farm where they grow and harvest turf.
But first, dwarf iris.
So I am kneeling here in a garden with Thomas, and Thomas, most of us know you from Seabright Gardens, and instantly we think of hostas and all these other amazing plants you have.
Right.
But you also own a company called Mid-America Garden, where you do irises, right?
Right.
So we're going to specifically be talking about dwarf irises today. First of all, I want to know what are the major differences, if any, from what we're used to, the taller irises and these dwarfs.
Okay, well the little dwarfs are just what it says, dwarf. They don't get any taller than 15 inches. They're technically classified from 8 to 15 inches. And there's another class of irises called miniature dwarfs that are 8 inches and less.
Wow.
So the big difference for these is basically the size. The flowers are smaller, the stems are shorter. They seem to increase a bit quicker. They're more winter hardy. They're hardy down into like 40 below.
My goodness.
They were bred from the tall bearded irises of the day back in I think maybe in the 40s is when they started working on it, or maybe the 30s. And they crossed them with a species from Siberia called pumila. And then they just kept crossing those progeny back and forth together and developed this class of dwarf bearded irises. And they're real workhorses. They bloom very heavily. They completely cover themselves in bloom, as you can see. They don't get really tall, so you don't need to worry about wind damage or heavy rains destroying them.
You don't have to stake them or anything.
Don't need to stake them. The blooms hold up better to
the weather
and where we get lots of rain here in the spring.
Well, and at that amount of time, of you go back to the time that they first started with them, really the amount of selection has become massive. There's a lot of different selections of these.
Right, and there's lots and lots of colors of these, and they're not known really well for some reason or other, but then there's one thing that's very specific in them, and that's called a spot pattern in the falls, and you can see it in a lot of them. Where there's actually
just for clarification for me, by falls you mean this part?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. The part that hangs down is the fall, and the top part is the standard.
Okay.
And on this seedling, for instance, you can see, I'm talking about spot pattern, as you can see the blue.
Right.
Blue spot. That's reminiscent of the species that they were bred from. The pumila, there was a spot in that, and that's been carried on into all these
progeny
years.
of it.
Correct.
And then how long does it take when you're growing these and testing them? You grow them from seed?
Correct.
How long does that take? How long the process?
The things I pollinate this year, I'll harvest the seed in August. I'll plant it in October. It'll germinate through the winter. Next year I'll plant it out of the pots into the soil in the garden, and it will bloom the following year. Wow. So 2 years from
really,
pollination.
so it's not
to
like
bloom.
a 10-year investment.
No.
That's amazing. And then how do you choose? What is it that when you look at those new plants blooming that have never bloomed before?
Right.
What is it that you look at to choose from and say this is the one?
Well, we're looking for something different. Is number one. And if it's not different, then it's not worth moving forward, or an improvement. We've been working for a long time on brightening the colors. The colors were weak when we first started. Now the colors some of them are actually neon colors. They're really intensely. We've been working on ruffles. You can see there's lots of ruffles coming on these now. We've been widening the petals. The old varieties had really narrow petals. We've widened them out so they look fuller. We've worked on bud count.
Nice.
Because the pumila species that they were bred from had 1 bud. So now we want to have at least 3 buds on a stem. Sometimes there's 4 and even up to 5 buds now. Wow. So we're still increasing that.
And then do they have any special, a disease problem or anything we have to pay attention to?
They're not anything different than what the tall beardeds that you're used to growing. You have to worry about maybe slugs on the
Right.
foliage early in the spring. The slugs do like iris foliage. So that's pretty much it. You want to plant them in a really sunny spot, at least a half a day of strong sun, and you want to put them in well-drained soil. They're happier in a succulent garden than they are in an English
Really?
garden.
Wow.
Think Mediterranean plant. That's where they want to be. Summer dry is totally fine. Very little water in the summer.
Wonderful.
And plant them so the rhizome is right at the surface level. You plant them too deep, they don't bloom.
And so then what if people say, okay, I'm sold, I want to get some of these, I want to look at them.
Yep.
How do they go about doing that?
Well, we can take care of that too.
Okay.
We've been putting out an iris catalog, a full color iris catalog called this Mid-America Garden. It's 70 pages, and it has all the bearded classes of irises in it. We probably about 300 different dwarf irises in the catalog.
Nice.
And we have a website. It's Mid-America Garden, and it's beardedirishflowers.com. They can go to that, and we have a shopping cart. And
Just add up.
yes, exactly. And we also have potted dwarfs for sale here at the garden, sold through Seabright Gardens.
Well, there you have it. So you're saying to yourself, I want to get some more information on these and maybe get some for my own place. Go to gardentime.tv. We'll click you over to both places. We'll click you over to Mid-America, and we'll click you over to Seabright as well. Find out what you need there and pick it up. Thomas, always a pleasure, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you.
Since 1982, the Wall has been making local gardens beautiful, naturally. Whether you need a new wall, concrete patio, fire pit, or driveway, the Wall's expert craftsmen can build it. We back up our work with a 5-year warranty, so you'll know it'll last. We use the highest quality materials, including stamped colored concrete, natural stone, and we're the leader in using recycled concrete. Create an outdoor environment you'll enjoy for years, with the help of your friends at The Wall.
Welcome to Blooming Junction, where it's easy to connect with nature. At Blooming Junction, you'll find beautiful, healthy plants, good, fresh food, and a place to regain peace and calm in your life. We have an unsurpassed collection of unique and distinctive plants and the expertise to help any gardener be successful. And we feature Blooming Advantage plants. Come check out Blooming Junction for an inspiring experience in the garden or in the kitchen. Blooming Junction, offering quality plants for beautiful gardens.
Since 1926, the BONIDE Company has worked with homeowners to make their homes and gardens beautiful. If you have a garden problem, BONIDE has the answer.
Looking for an organic weed control that is people and pet safe? BONIDE has the answer with Burnout Weed and Grass Killer. Burnout has a fast-acting, all-organic formula. You'll start to see results within 24 hours.
Visit bonide.com to find a local retailer and to download your free BONIDE Problem Solver app for your iPhone or Droid.
Celebrate a spring tradition. Visit the Hulda Klager Lilac Gardens during the annual Lilac Days. Open daily from 10 to 4. See hundreds of blooming lilacs. Tour Hulda's Victorian home and gift shop. Take exit 21 off I-5 in Woodland, Washington.
Build a beautiful home inside and out at French Prairie Perennials. Inside, we have just the right creative elements to complete your decor. We offer an oasis of unusual, nature-inspired garden and home gifts and accessories. Outside, choose from our wide selection of unique dwarf conifers and sparkling companion plants. French Prairie Perennials, located between Woodburn and Wilsonville. Take exit 278 to Aurora and French Prairie Perennials.
Well, for a sunny, beautiful day, Sarah and I have on our sunglasses. And Sarah, we're going to talk all about herbs today because it's that time to start getting them planted so we can cook with them.
Yes, and they're, I think, the best addition to any garden because people can use them for not just decoration, but also fresh cooking.
Yum, yum. You know what it does, like you said, it kind of inspires you.
Yeah, it challenges you when you plant something to try to use it in a dish or you know, maybe just come up with new recipes that you hadn't had thought of. So that's how I use it. And I just planted a big herb garden last year and it's been growing amazing.
Excellent.
And it's been a lot of fun to try to do different things. And we had a really hard time narrowing it down to these herbs because they're just all amazing. They're all, you know, we're used to cooking with all of them. So
what do you want to start with?
Let's start over here with the thyme. That's kind of your classic herb, obviously. We've got a trailing herb there. the foxley, and then lemon thyme, which smells kind of like Fruit Loops, I think. That's one that I planted, and so those are great for chicken, and people know how to use thyme. But
all right. And then parsley. I think you kind of forget about parsley.
You do, and that's actually one of my favorites because I throw that in like chicken noodle soup.
Ooh.
And it really gives it a much different flavor than you can get from a dried leaf. And then I freeze up chicken noodle soup ahead of time in the fall for the winter when we're all sick, and it's one of my favorite things to make.
Excellent. And then this ferny one.
Yeah, fennel. I haven't used that one myself, but apparently it can be used for not just cooking, but also I guess like
flea
insect
deterrent?
repellent.
Yes,
Yeah, insect
that was
repellent and
interesting.
whatnot. And then my other favorite one that looks like that is dill.
Oh.
I use that all the time on like some foil packet, steelhead and a little bit of lemon, garlic, and dill, and it's amazing, easy cleanup.
And then this is a pretty one. So it's nice to put pretty ones in too, but this has a use?
Yes, both of these are a sorrel, and they're kind of a spicy green, so you throw them in salads. And I mean, that just pops when you have a salad. And then as you were mentioning too, which I didn't know, that basically all of the herb flowers you can just throw in as decoration. I never thought of that, but it's so fun to eat a salad and see the colorful flowers and whatnot.
Definitely. And then this little one right here, what's that?
That is tarragon. It's super popular. You can use it for a bunch of different things, but it's very tender. So we get people coming back all the time that their tarragon died. So make sure and wait to plant it until it's really nice weather out.
I love it in vinaigrettes. It's lovely.
Yeah.
And then rosemary is, I think, an ornamental and an edible.
Yes, definitely. I was looking through the other day at some shrubs and noticed, hey, that's a rosemary, and it has the really nice blooms. This is my favorite one, ARP, because I think it has good flavor for cooking, but I like the upright rosemary.
Nice.
A lot of people like the trailing, but I really like the upright, especially in an herb garden, because not much else gives you that height. And then the epazote we've got here, which can be used in some Latin dishes, and
Nice.
William was saying that the trick to that is pinching off the leaves. The smaller the leaves, the better, I think.
And
That's
keep
what he was
using
saying.
them. Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And then we've got a lot of sage, lots of different kinds of sage. So we've
at all
got
of
the
them.
Burr Garden, which I would consider kind of your classic sage. It's a pretty intense flavor for me, as are most sages.
You can just use a little. It goes a long way, I think, too.
Yeah, just being careful with it. And then a purple sage here, which is beautiful.
Pretty.
A little more mild. And then this is a pineapple sage, which is extremely, extremely popular. This doesn't smell like sage at all.
It doesn't.
It's got a fruity flavor and bright red flowers, so it's a great dual plant. People use it all the time for, you were saying, fruit salad.
Yeah, I like to put it on fruit salad.
And then cocktails.
Oh, that's another great one, especially for summertime.
Yeah, and then it's just pretty. Hummingbirds love it, so it's really
Yeah.
popular for a hummingbird garden. And then the golden sage, which is just a different color, so you've got some contrast with all these things. And again, we didn't even talk about like mint or cilantro or lemongrass
go on and on.
and lemon verbena. So just herbs are the best.
Well, your stores really have a big selection. So really can go to the Division Street store or the Stark Street store and pick them out. You really can have so much fun, and you can do it on a container or in a bed.
Oh yeah, that was the other thing. Yeah, because small spaces are great. You can fit a few of them in a flower box, but I see people all the time planting them too close together. So just give them the room to grow, and don't try to grow them inside, because it's not going to work out very well, and then people get discouraged.
Yeah.
So they need to be outside. They need to have a lot of sun.
Yeah. Well, on a sunny day, it's a great idea to come out to Portland Nursery, wear your sunglasses, and go to the herb selection and pick them out for your garden or your container. Thanks so much, Sarah.
Thank you.
Your garden begins here with the people in purple, the ones you meet inside each Al's Garden and Home store. More than ever, we're working to bring you a truly exceptional gardening experience. Grow your own herbs and veggies for a tasty summer treat. Locally grown starts are on sale. Buy 3, get 1 free. Hurry in for the best selection. The best gardens begin and continue to grow at Al's Garden and Home in Woodburn, Sherwood, Gresham, and Wilsonville. Or visit us at als-gardencenter.com.
Your garden is only as good as the ingredients you use. That's where Black Gold can help. Black Gold Seedling Mix is formulated for successful seed germination and strong seedling growth. Black Gold Seedling Mix is organic and OMRI listed, so you can start this year's organic garden outright. Look for Black Gold at your local garden center or go online to blackgold.bz. Black Gold, all the riches of the earth.
Dram is celebrating 75 years of design and manufacturing of quality watering tools. Dram products feature 9 water patterns and are designed to nurture your plants with a shower of rain. Dram for lawn and garden, available at garden centers near you.
Create a beautiful living space both inside and out with the help of Terra Casa.
Outside, you'll find pottery, fountains, and decor to make your garden unforgettable.
And inside there are home furnishings and just the right accents to make your home warm, inviting, and most importantly, comfortable.
Terra Casa has a huge selection of merchandise to fit any home or budget. Plus, we still have all the unique and distinctive gifts that you have come to expect from Terra Casa.
Terra Casa in downtown Damascus.
Come to where the color is. Come to Egan Gardens. We've worked hard growing healthy plants for you so that your gardening is easy. Add sparkle to your garden with our perennials, container plants, and skillfully designed baskets and planters.
We have veggie plants ready for your garden. Give a tomato a loving home. Join us for a talk on successful vegetable gardening Saturday at 2.
Egan Gardens, where it's all about the plants. We're located west of I-5 at exit 263 on River Road.
I sure wish that you could be smelling where I am right now. I am at the Hulda Klager Lilac Gardens, and I'm with Ruth. And Ruth, we're right at Lilac Days, so beautiful bloom today.
Yeah, really, it's a perfect day to be here.
It is nice. And so before we talk about the Lilac Days, let's talk about some tips for us at home about our own lilacs. So we enjoy them, we bring them in, but sometimes we need to prune them. So maybe some ideas about pruning.
Yeah, it's not so much it's not so much how you prune, but when. You need to prune when they're finished blooming, right after they finish blooming. And wherever you prune is where the new growth is going to start.
And why right after they bloom? Why not 2 months later?
You'll be cutting off next year's bloom if you wait that long. So yeah, you probably want to be within a month of the end of the bloom.
All right, and so there's a plant behind us. So when it's an extreme problem, I see this one is fallen over. It's an older one, but would you prune all the way to the new growth?
Probably in this case, I would take off everything except where the new growth is starting on that branch. The society now recommends that you plant, if you're going to prune extreme, go all the way to the ground.
Wow.
Don't leave anything, because that's where you'll get the disease.
Ruth, you were mentioning about reblooming, and so this is actually a rebloomer. What's this one?
This is Josie or Jose or whatever. It depends on whether you're French or not. But yeah, this is one that blooms fairly early and then will bloom again a couple of times, usually a summer. Nice for landscape, you know.
It's a pretty big one, but it's very beautiful. And any other favorites you want to talk about?
I do love the lilac sundae, which was developed back in Boston in the Arboretum, and it's really a pretty one. It takes off, and it has a little kind of a willowy pattern to it, and a growth pattern, and it's a beautiful pink too.
Nice. And then what is the one that you were saying that you have in stock this year that you don't always have in stock?
Well, this year we have Alice Christensen in stock. They're not blooming over there, but they are good, healthy plants. And we have worked a long time to be able to offer those.
And
it's
then-
a triple.
A triple, wow. And Hulda did develop that one.
Yes, that's one of Hulda's. That's right. It was developed, named after one of her workers.
Aw. And really, you can tour Hulda's house. There's plants for sale, which is the best part because you could bring some of the garden home with you.
And then we also have plants for sale. That's my part of it. We have probably 40 varieties of lilacs over there for sale.
Well, you know, it's run by volunteers, so that all goes back into the gardens. It's a wonderful place to bring the family this weekend. Thank you so much.
Sure.
So we are out here at the beautiful Wavra Farms, and I'm with Diane. And Diane, I love this new area that you have, and so I guess you're going to be calling it what?
The succulent bar.
Oh, that's so cool. And you have so many varieties of them.
We do.
And I love that you have a specific idea of what you're doing with them, and they all are these little plugs, which are perfect.
That's exactly what our customers have been asking for years. We've always had some of the bigger succulents, and they're too big for their little teacups or their little containers. So this year we decided to do what we're calling the succulent poppers at our succulent bar, and they can just take them out and then plant them into their little containers. And at this bar, we not only have some of our hardy varieties, which are great to leave outside all winter long.
Nice.
So you don't have to worry about bringing them in. But we also carry some of the tender ones as well, like what you picked out, that might need a little more protection in our climate here in the wintertime.
Right. And I like that because sometimes you can do a planting of them and take them inside.
Correct.
And then set them back out. So either way you want to go is good.
Yes.
Now what I did before we started filming is I picked out some of the ones that I really like. I love the colors, I love their coordination. So while you plant this up for me, because I'm going to depend on your skill set, let's talk about this wonderful thing that's happening with people that can come out and do this.
So at our succulent bar, we not only have a great selection of poppers, we've also got some bigger plants as well.
Yeah.
And then we've got some fabulous little containers. We got some little clay pots. We've got some fun little characters that all have some personalities.
Right.
We have some trays. So basically we have pretty much everything that you need to create your own little container and be successful at doing so.
And I actually do love all of the different containers you have, and this is just a few of them. You have a lot bigger selection of this. But what I really like is that you can come out, you can get the container you like, you can buy the stuff, you can have help planting it up here, or if you're really confident, like I am not, you can go home and try it yourself too.
Correct.
So then let me have you start slapping that one together for me. So then not only do you have this wonderful class happening, but you have all kinds of different fun classes going on out here. How do people find out about that?
So the best place to find out is on our Facebook account or our Instagram account. And we have some painting classes coming up. We're going to have some little cone planter classes. And this weekend we have a kids terrarium planting class in the afternoon at 2 o'clock, an adult class at 10 o'clock where we will be planting some of these different containers.
And that sounds like fun because I know kids, they do enjoy coming out, they enjoy doing stuff, and then sometimes, you know, we adults like to also do the same stuff that the kids are doing.
Correct.
So it's a great idea. And then, so if they go to Facebook, then they can find not only about this class information, but all the other slew of great events you have going on out here.
And a lot of them are kid-friendly, family-friendly as well.
Right.
So if it doesn't work for you to come in the afternoon with your child and you want to bring your older child in the morning with you, you're more than welcome to.
And then I'm just going to make an assumption here that just because you really are loving the sedum area, they can get other plants and plant them up as well.
Oh yes, we have a full-scale nursery.
It's
so
true.
we have lots of other plants for both sun and shade. And so all of the petunias, the hand baskets, and other plants are ready to go.
Perfect. So here's the thing. Go to gardentime.tv. We'll click you over to their website, but we can also show you their Facebook page where there's all that instant information that happens so you can be right on top of what's happening out here at Wavra Farms. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Garden Time is brought to you by Capital Subaru, your way on the Parkway.
What's even better than buying a brand new Subaru? How about getting the best possible value from a place that's as trustworthy and dependable as a Subaru? At Capital Subaru, your satisfaction is our goal, which is why you can always expect the kind of service and selection that keeps you smiling. From our lot to your driveway.
Go the distance this spring in the smart and efficient new 2019 Subaru Outback 2.5i Limited. Lease it now, just $289 per month.
Capital Subaru, your way on the Parkway.
At Sagawa Nursery, we talk about going beyond the ordinary. Whether it's new and exciting varieties of plants and shrubs, to our wide selection of unique Japanese maples, or our great collection of tools, garden products, and Asian-themed gifts, we can help transform your garden into something extraordinary. Come in and let us make your garden a showcase. Sagawa Nursery, growing beyond the ordinary.
DRAM is celebrating 75 years of design and manufacturing of quality watering tools. DRAM products feature 9 water patterns and are designed to nurture your plants with a shower of rain. DRAM for lawn and garden, available at garden centers near you.
For over 100 years, Collier Arbor Care and Bartlett Tree Experts have provided tree and shrub care services to the Portland metropolitan area.
From large tree and small shrub pruning, tree removal, and stump grinding, we can handle all your tree care needs.
Our arborists diagnose and treat your toughest insect and disease problems.
We also have organic solutions for growing and maintaining healthy gardens, as well as organic nutrition for your trees and shrubs.
Collier and Bartlett, environmentally friendly since 1907.
Stop and smell a rose, hear a child laugh, see the beauty that is Oregon. You will find all this and more at the Oregon Garden in historic Silverton. 400-year-old oaks, edible landscapes, a children's garden. Spend a day leisurely strolling the garden or attend one of many garden events or classes. You can even extend your stay with a night at the Oregon Garden Resort. Enjoy the garden that showcases the diverse botanical beauty of our state, the Oregon Garden.
Aren't these orchids just so lovely? With our old friend, Lori Reinberger from the Oregon Orchid Society, and she's going to give us some tips of what we can do with our own orchids at home. But first, we have to ask you, so how many orchids in your collection these days?
I have about 5,000 orchids currently.
Wow. But we can still have a couple in our home.
Absolutely. Let's talk about it. Let's teach people how to work on this.
Definitely.
And March and April is specifically what I want to talk about right today.
All right.
And so I really want to go in with and show these new orchids that we have here, this Phalaenopsis. 3 different kinds of Phalaenopsis.
Beautiful.
And you'll notice that they're starting to bloom now. This time of year is about when they start to come up. So they've been kind of sleepy.
Okay.
So we're going to wake them up with a little bit more water and a little bit more fertilizer.
Perfect.
And then we're going to start to notice little things like if the spikes are starting to come up, I want to see you start to stake them.
All right. Why is that important?
Well, it's important for several different reasons. And I'm just going to show you briefly. You just take a stake like that. And if you want to get one of these little clips on there.
Like a little butterfly.
Yeah, and just post it on there like that, and that'll hold it up. Now, what will that do? That puts it where the light is, and then you want to leave it there. You don't want to twist it, you don't want to turn it, because when you do that, if you move this over here, then it's going to reach for the light. And if you move it over here, and then it's going to get all twisted. And people say, why are my flowers so twisted?
Right.
Well, that's a big reason why they do.
And you want to show nice and straight.
Absolutely. So stake it. It also provides stability for it, and it'll stand up, and it'll reach for the light, and it'll just be beautiful.
And then what is this one?
So this is a Cattleya.
All right.
And again, this time of year is a really good time. They're just starting to grow new growth. And actually, it's a good time to repot these in April. And into May, you can repot these. So the blooms are starting to come on Phalaenopsis, on Oncidiums, and I have an Oncidium here as well. And this one here is another good example. It's starting to come into bud, and we want to stake it.
Perfect.
And that way it'll be positioned nicely for the sun to hit it.
All right, and then what else is going on for this month for it?
Well, we're also going to do protecting your plants from sunlight. So as the sunlight starts to get brighter, we need to move them a little bit further away from the window. So you can put a shade up. If you've got morning sun, you can put a shade up, or if you've got afternoon sun and it's beating down, or move them a foot or so back from the windows. And that way then they won't be so susceptible to sunburn.
Because really where they live in the wild, most of them live under the forest canopy.
Correct.
So they're not out in the sunshine.
Correct. You also need to carefully monitor the temperature and the light and the humidity and the air circulation, which of course are the big main things for orchids. So you want to make sure that they're not in a place that's too hot for them or too cold for them, because as the buds come, if you have a door and it's cold in the morning, it could just come right in there and whip cold air on there, and then that would create bud blast.
Oh, definitely.
And they would fall off. So don't move them once they get in their little position. And then you need to inspect your orchids for any insects this time of year. So there could be scale or they could be mealybug on there. And it's really important that you lift underneath the leaf.
Oh, they hide,
and
don't they?
check just to make sure there's nothing underneath and hiding and inside the crevices.
And how can we, if we do have a problem, what do we use?
Well, I use a soap or I use an alcohol and soap mixture and put that on there with just a little bit of a cotton ball and take it right off and remove it that way.
Oh, that's pretty easy.
Yeah.
So we don't have to use harsh chemicals. It's just really
Correct.
easy to use other things.
And you can make your own.
Ah, that
if
is
you want
nice.
to. And then, of course, as I mentioned, it's a good time to repot. So it's going to have to start going and doing that. Orchids like to be repotted about once a year. So it's a good time now when we start to see a little new growth. Just be real careful not to break off any new growth. So it's also important to check out the current orchid shows in your area. And the Oregon Orchid Society happens to have a show coming up.
And I know they have classes, so really repotting, everybody's always nervous about repotting or doing things, and there's actually a class at the show.
There's going to be a class on Saturday and Sunday, as well as Orchids 101. So bring your questions. There'll be lots of experts there. There'll be a judging show and lots of lovely flowers on display, as well as orchids that you can buy, and more real unusual orchids.
And that's always a fun part, because sometimes you get some ones that are very unusual, they're very rare, and then to talk to you all, because you get all that information that you just don't want to get from the internet. It's nice to get it one-on-one.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Well, we invite you to go to our website. We'll click you over to their website. You can see all the dates and all the information. They even have meetings that you can go to. It's just a wonderful hobby, a wonderful collection to your indoor plants. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
You know, as spring arrives and the sun comes out more, it's not just plants that you see popping up out of the ground. You also start to see some bugs.
Sometimes on south-facing walls, because they're warm from the heat, you'll see box elder bugs congregating, but don't worry, they're not going to do any damage.
In fact, the only thing that they really do is they leave a little fecal spot. Now, that can be a problem inside because it can also get on your curtains and stuff.
So to get rid of them on the outside, you could use a spray of water, you can use a shop vac, or even take your broom and just sweep them down.
And if you're inside, you can sweep them or just vacuum them up.
So if you do see them congregating on that south wall, don't worry, because in a few short weeks, they'll be gone.
Garden Time is brought to you by Portland Nursery, a passion for plants, a nursery for plant people.
Hi, I'm Sarah from Portland Nursery, where spring is our favorite time of year. It's the time to prepare your garden for planting. We invite you to get a jump on spring with our huge selection. Let Portland Nursery's staff of professionals help with groceries you can grow. We've got the seeds, veggie starts, and expertise to ensure your success. Visit portlandnursery.com for a list of classes and special events. Portland Nursery, helping make your backyard your favorite destination at 50th and Stark and 90th and Division.
Do you have a leaning or broken fence? Fix a broken fence with ease. Made in Oregon, the sturdy fence post bracket can mend your drooping fence. Strong winds, falling debris, dry rot, and wayward drivers can all cause havoc on your once sturdy fence. Our sturdy bracket attaches to your existing fence and is easily installed in 30 minutes. Limit waste, materials, and save money by fixing your existing fence. Purchase online at sturdfence.com or visit participating Par Lumber and Pro Build stores.
Millions of tulip bulbs transform the Iverson Farm into one of Oregon's most stunning events. The family invites you to the Wooden Shoe Tulip Festival. Explore our tulip fields and market, kids' activities, food, and Wooden Shoe wine. The Wooden Shoe Tulip Festival open daily, now through April 29.
Surround yourself with wonderful color this summer. It's time for the annual spring sale at Hydrangeas Plus. Hydrangeas are the perfect plant for any garden, large or small. We are cleaning out our nursery, so come and take some plants home to your garden. We're offering special once-a-year pricing on nearly everything we grow. Also, check out our selection of grasses and other blooming perennials. It's the annual spring sale at Hydrangeas Plus.
No matter what shade your green thumb is, you can find the plants and the help you need at Wavra Farms. We're filled with an astounding array of colorful plants to fill your garden. In addition to wonderful annuals and perennials, we are known for our hanging baskets. We also have all your garden essentials, and we have great garden gifts too. From beginner to expert, you'll find something new and different with every visit. Wavra Farms, located off Highway 22, exit 5, east of Salem.
So I'm standing next to Lyle, and Lyle, tell me who you're with here.
I'm Lyle with Bartlett Tree Experts.
And we're going to be looking at the pruning of Japanese maples because it seems like they are ubiquitous in gardens in the Northwest. Everyone has one.
They are, and there are many styles, types, colors, shapes, and you can go on and on.
And there is specific ways to prune the uprights versus this one he's working on, which is more of a weeper.
Correct. First thing you want to really think about is what's the objective.
Yeah.
You know, many people, if they like that full canopy cousin it look, that's definitely worth keeping. But the Japanese maple in itself is a very decorative style branch structure. And if you can't see the branch structure, really you lose out on much of the value of it. And I kind of think of the leaves as decoration, seasonal decoration. So you get to go through the seasons and then you get the winter silhouette as we have here.
Well, and clearly this one has been worked on. You guys have worked on this one for a while, haven't you?
We have definitely been maintaining this one for quite a few years. You can definitely see how open the canopy is. All the branches are working out from the center of the trunk.
And who wouldn't want to see those branches? Those are stunning.
That's the value of Japanese maple, especially the weeping Japanese maple.
So what is he, it doesn't look like he's doing a lot of heavy pruning. What's he cutting off?
No, this is just basically winter maintenance. We're just getting ready for the spring flush growth, getting rid of some of the sucker growth inside the canopy. Realize that this will completely foliate itself as spring comes about us, and then we'll be back in June to really dial it in for the season.
Nice. And then what are a couple of the differences with the upright type of pruning?
So here we have a weeper and there we have an upright.
Yeah.
Uprights are going to be more upright and they're there to be large. And so in this situation here, the cuts that we're making are really just structural cuts to promote size and height and color and things like that. However, we do get a lot of these upright canopy Japanese maples in a front entry where they can outgrow their space.
Sure.
And that's where we'll be, same thing, kind of doing some reduction cuts to control its size for the available space.
Because I can see on that one, even on the top part, there are some it looks like 4-foot limbs shooting out there. Those are long.
Yeah, that's 1 year's growth. And so we have to manage those if we're trying to control the size.
Sure.
Realize that pruning promotes pruning. So once you start pruning a Japanese maple,
you're going to have to keep up, aren't you?
You're going to continue controlling its size.
Now let's say, Lyle, that I do have in my yard one of those cousin-it Japanese maples that has just been let go, and all you see is limbs in the winter and just a mop of leaves in the rest of the year.
Correct.
What's the hope of that?
Any Japanese maple can be started if it's never been pruned and it's 50 years old to it's brand new in the canopy. The real first steps is just getting that structure. And winter time is the best time to make some of those bigger cuts. You know, when they're just a mass of branches folding over each other, that's where we can really get in there and see the structure and start building the canopy of a well-maintained Japanese maple.
And you know, people are so afraid to prune, but the bottom line is generally you can screw up pretty badly sometimes and nature's forgiving.
Japanese maples will recover every time.
Yeah.
So
if people don't want to actually do this themselves, we could certainly always invite you to go to gardentime.tv. We'll click you over to their website. They've been doing this a long time. They get maples, they know which ones to cut where. So if you want that information, just go to the website and we'll click you over there. Lyle, it is always a pleasure. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
As gardeners, we're always looking for something to help us gardens. Well, I'm with Jeff today, and he's from Daisy Rain Garden Systems. And Jeff, this is incredible. What a great invention. You are amazing.
Wow, I like that. My wife would argue, but...
But you came up with something to really solve a lot of problems for us we love to garden in pots on our deck or on our patio, and you came up with a cool system that it's going to help the plants be healthy and it's going to look nice.
Yes, and I came up with it to solve my problem because we use the microline stuff at drip irrigation. It's very temperamental. When it works great, but you have to stay on it.
Right.
I wanted something that was tough and we could expand. We call this macro drip, meaning not 6 gallons or less per hour. We do 40 gallons an hour, but it's ½ inch. It's still low pressure. It's still 25 pounds of pressure, but the idea is to get the plants watered quickly with a system that won't clog and is easy to put together and it's dependable.
That's
the
wonderful.
key.
Yeah, because you don't want dead plants.
Plants are expensive, either with your time or your dollars.
Right.
It's an investment.
Right. Well, this is cool because there's just like this kind of little gorge right here. So tell us about that.
That's our keyway. That's our patented keyway. And basically what it allows for, this will accept actually a number of pipes. PVC Schedule 40 pipe. We use this 17 millimeter half-inch drip pipe. But this keyway allows you to come into the pot with the half-inch pipe. And that way, if you still love that microline drip, drip, drip stuff, you can actually go ahead and thread that onto here.
Ah, sure.
And another way, there's so many ways to use these, but you can use these as a distribution point. Hanging flowers, you can run your half-inch line to it and then come out of this and do your hanging pots.
Oh, wow.
But it's just the idea that it's dependable and it's easy to put away and it's really simple to set up. In fact, all you have to do is
Okay, show us here. Okay.
hook up a hose.
Okay.
Can you hook up a hose?
I can. I know how to do that.
Both things?
Yes,
Then you're in business.
Excellent.
Because that's it. Our kit comes with a pre-assembled pressure reducer, the swivel, everything you need. Now what we're showing here, this is basically flower and vegetable. You can germinate, you plant the flowers around here, it works great. If you want to do a rose or a shrub, a boxwood, an arborvitae with stuff around it, you simply don't put on the head, and you bend the pipe over.
All right.
You put this 8 bend on, and you basically poke a hole in it.
Okay.
The roots, this will work in tandem with this. So this output, believe it or not, because of evaporation, the shrub will get just enough water as the tomatoes or whatever
Perfect.
out in the other pots.
And about how many could we daisy chain together then?
25.
Wow.
25. You can actually do 27, but we say 25.
Yeah, just
because
be
we're
safe.
pessimists.
Well, you want that last one to get the water, don't you?
25 is too many. These are 7-gallon pots. These will take any plant to full maturity, any plant. And that was kind of, they only come in one size now. We had to err on the side of we wanted to take every plant to full maturity.
Sure.
And so, but they're at perfect size, and the 25 of them's too many.
Well, you know, I love their website too because, of course, we love to see a video of it. And you have great videos on your website. And then we can also order off the website too.
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, we are not in retail yet. We are in Ace stores. We're in their catalog. Their stores can buy us. But it's going to be a year before they buy that seasonal stuff. But
Sure.
yes, you can buy them direct. We ship them. We've got great deals going. And I appreciate what you said about the video. My son does those videos.
Oh, excellent.
We do them ourselves. We're mom, pa. We do everything.
Wow.
We actually mold these in Hillsboro. All the pieces are basically American, every piece. And we assemble them and ship them out.
So, you know, we love local, and a local inventor, local family, local company that you can get, and you can get it this season. You don't have to wait till it's in the store. So you can go to gardentime.tv, we'll click over to their website, and you can see the video, see how easy it is, and order one and have one on the deck really soon.
For Mother's Day.
There you go.
It's a great present for Mother's Day. My shameless plug.
That's okay, that's okay. That's how you do business.
I'm shameless.
Thanks so much, Jeff.
Thank you.
Since 1987, French Prairie Gardens has brought you the best in farm fresh produce, beautiful plants, and memorable family events. Spring is here, and now is the time to get your garden ready with our wide selection of bedding plants and hanging baskets. Experience the best the country has to offer at French Prairie Gardens.
The health and beauty of your garden starts from the ground up, and healthy soils begin at Grimm's Fuel. For the best in garden mulch, blended soils, and bark dust, choose Grimm's. U-Haul delivered or installed, Grimm's can do it. And if you're looking for a new lawn, Grimm's can do that too with our special lawn installation service. Grimm's is also the area's largest recycler of yard debris. The foundation for a healthy garden begins at Grimm's Fuel.
Color, color, color. When you think of your garden, think of color. Then think of Margie's Farm and Garden. High quality plants and great customer service are our trademark.
We'll help you bring shade and structure to your summer garden. This weekend, we are offering 20% off all our trees and shrubs.
Vegetables or herbs, hanging baskets or perennials, trust Margie's Farm and Garden, just off I-5 near Aurora.
Celebrate a spring tradition. Visit the Hulda Klager Lilac Gardens during the annual Lilac Days. Open daily from 10 to 4. See hundreds of blooming lilacs. Tour Hulda's Victorian home and gift shop. Take exit 21 off I-5 in Woodland, Washington.
At Garland Nursery, you'll find
top quality plants,
4 generations of garden know-how,
fun and fantastic garden decor,
and the best in garden supplies.
Come visit us at Garland Nursery.
Since 1937, inspiring beautiful and bountiful gardens.
Have you ever seen rolls of sod like this and wondered where the heck do they come from? Well, I'm with Tom Darmon, and you're with Oregon Turf and Tree Farms, and you know they're a local grower of sod. So when did your family get into this?
We got into sod probably in the early 70s, late 60s.
But before that, you were seed farmers. You were grass seed farmers.
Grass seed farmers, we were.
And then how did the sod start? Because it's pretty nice. This is instant. I mean, we've all put lawns in, or many of us have put lawns in with seed, and it takes a little bit of time, but man, sod is the next day. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Sod came to the West Coast through Hollywood. There was sod on the East Coast, and grass seed here, of course. It was always a luxury, and Hollywood saw it, and they wanted it for some of the sets, the movie sets, and talked to a produce farmer in Southern California to grow on sod, a couple acres. And then it turned into CalTurf, a big company.
Ah, and so your family kind of saw that happening. It's like, well, maybe we should try that too.
Yeah, we were selling grass seed, always looking to diversify a little bit. So we put a few acres of sod in, and it's growing. People want instant landscape.
Sure, sure. And so you're third generation. And then, so you have, how many acres do you have in sod here?
We've got about 500 acres in sod. That varies from time to time.
Wow, wow. And then the other part is the trees.
Shade
so that's
trees.
Another story for another time.
Right.
So how long does it take? Like from when you plant it and then to harvest and?
So we try to fall plant. So if we fall plant in early October, late September, we'll have sod ready as soon as late May.
Wow.
May, June.
Wow, that
for the
is
summer
cool.
demand.
Ah, that is nice. And then tell us a little bit about these different kinds, because you have 3 different kinds of turf here.
Yeah, this is tall fescue. This is a little more drought tolerant. It stands up to traffic pretty well. It's got a great root system. It comes back quickly. This is TWGCA certified, Turfgrass Water Conservation Alliance certified. So it's 30% more drought tolerant than its peers. This is our prettier ryegrass. It's a little finer textured. It's kind of the choice if you've got small kids. It's a good choice for pets.
Softer.
It's a little, softer, finer textured. That's kind of the norm. This is what's around golf courses and parks right now.
All right.
And then we've got a sand-based sod. So this is grown on imported sand from the dredged Columbia River sand. We brought in about 15,000 acres, 15,000 tons, and we're growing on 8 acres. We brought in about a 12-inch profile, and it's mainly for sports fields, golf courses.
Drains well.
It drains well,
Takes
right?
the abuse.
Yeah, exactly.
That is cool. And so, you know, I think we all love sod, but we really love to see the process of it, of the harvest. So we're going to go over and actually see the harvester out in the field. So let's go.
Let's go.
Tom, this is just too fascinating to see this sod harvester, a massive machine. So about how much can they do in an hour? Is that how you time it?
Yeah, the sod harvester can harvest up to 10,000 square feet in an hour under ideal conditions.
Right,
Today's
right.
not ideal, obviously.
Right, right. But so it cuts it, it rolls it, and it stacks it on a pallet and then drops it.
Yes.
That is just amazing. And so I can call your office and come and pick up some sod or have it delivered, but I can't really install it that day.
Right, right. We recommend removing your existing lawn, rototilling 2 or 3 inches, adding some amendment. A 3-way amendment works well, kind of a 3-way soil, and then tilling that in, retruing the surface, leveling it, and then the sod would go in.
And then are there tips? You have like a pamphlet or on your website so you can have some extra help there?
We do. OregonLawn.com. We've got on our website, OregonLawn.com. We've got quite a bit of information on that site.
And then how do we get in touch with it? How do we order?
Call our office direct at 503-981-TURF,
okay,
or go to OregonLawn.com.
And you can even come out here to pick it up. I mean, they're right near Hubbard, so right in our area. So really, if you have any questions, please go to GardenTime.tv and we can click you over to their website and get all that information and really have an instant lawn as soon as possible. Thanks so much. It's just fascinating.
Yeah, thanks.
For the tip of the week, we have a great way to exclude cats from your raised beds. You know, we just made this raised bed nice and fresh for the season with fresh new soil, and there's already kitty prints.
Now, one of the ways that you can do that is to buy this like bird netting, and it protects, you know, vegetables and fruit. You stretch it over the bed. The problem with this, though, is you really have to pay attention to when the plants start to grow, because if they get too big, you're going to tear them up as you take this off.
So we have another way that's a little bit easier. You just need push pins and some kind of line. We're using jute here. We've put the push pins in at intervals on the wood, and all you have to do is kind of stretch it across and zigzag it.
Now, one of the other things you can use is this monofilament line or fishing wire, and that you can put on, do the same system. Now, the benefit of this is you can take it off and use it year after year. However, some people would like something more natural, like the jute.
You know, this way, once your plants are growing up and the cats aren't going to be bothering it, you could just take it up and it's not unsightly.
So protecting your raised beds from neighborhood pets or your own, that's our tip of the week.
Millions of tulip bulbs transform the Iverson Farm into one of Oregon's most stunning events. The family invites you to the Wooden Shoe Tulip Festival. Explore our tulip fields and market, kids' activities, food, and wooden shoe wine. The Wooden Shoe Tulip Festival open daily, now through April 29.
For 90 years, Espoma has one guiding principle: develop the finest organic gardening products that work in harmony with nature, grow beautiful gardens, and make a greener world for the future. From our soil products to our plant foods, we have always been committed to the environment and sustainability. We use a vast array of natural and organic ingredients and package them in our 100% solar-powered plant. Look for the quality line of Espoma products at your local independent garden center. Espoma, organic from the beginning.
It's spring clearance time at Standard TV and Appliance. Save up to 70% on closeouts, floor models, and special purchases. Price cuts in every category, including washers and dryers, ranges, top brand dishwashers, refrigerators, Simmons Beauty Rest mattresses, and more. When they're gone, they're gone. Spring clearance ends soon. Standard TV and Appliance.
Hey everybody, I'm Brian Bauman from Bauman's Farm and Garden, and I just went to check the hanging baskets out at my mom's house. I wanted to take a second to give you some tips and tricks to make sure that your hanging baskets stay watered and fertilized throughout the entire summer. To start with, every hanging basket from Bauman Farms, we give you a water-soluble fertilizer that comes with your basket. At the farm, we fertilize our baskets 3 to 5 times a week. And I understand, I don't have time to fertilize my mom's hanging baskets 3 to 5 times a week. One of the tricks is to take a time-release fertilizer. Now I get it, this is not a fancy looking bag, but what we did is we have a specific blend of time-release fertilizer that we like to use that we've bagged up and put just for you. So we're gonna take about 2 tablespoons of this and put it in the top of the hanging baskets. So we want to take that fertilizer, the time release, and put it just on top of the soil. So that way, every time we water the basket, it's going to give a little bit of fertilizer into it. But that's not enough. So what we need to do is take some of this water-soluble fertilizer. We're going to put 1 teaspoon of this into a gallon of water and then water our hanging baskets. Now that we've got our fertilizer all mixed up, people always ask me, how much water do I put in the hanging basket? And the answer is, we're gonna fill it up until it starts coming out the bottom. Well, that one took almost a full gallon of fertilizer to water that hanging basket. And to answer the question, how much water do you give? You keep going till it starts coming out the bottom. And that may go up or go down depending on the weather outside and how big your hanging basket is. But keep going until that water comes out all the way out the bottom. Remember to fertilize your hanging basket a couple times a week. I try and water mine every morning to stay in the routine. For more helpful information, go to www.baumanfarms.com.
Well, what fun it is to be standing with Brian at Sagawa's. And Brian, today we are going to be talking about something that we really discuss a lot because it's so important, which is pollinator plants. And then we're also going to throw in some beautiful hummingbirds as well. So tell me about this stunning thing right here.
Great topics. Yeah, thanks, William. Well, it's actually native to the area. Flowering currant, the red flowering currant, just a beautiful pinkish, it's very much an attractant for all the hummingbirds. They just go right to.
And it does attract pollinators too, so really you get a double whammy with this plant because you'll get the hummingbirds who like it and the pollinators as well. And you know, we would be remiss, Brian, if we didn't talk about berries, because I think a lot of people get pollination as necessary, but they really are pollinators as well.
That's right. It's exactly. The blueberries definitely need, it always helps to have two varieties, or you know, hope for the bees passing on the pollen there for the pollination.
And then, you know, there's all kinds of flowers that you guys carry that are great for pollination. Like both of these here are stunning.
Yeah, I think it's that magenta, scarlet for the hummingbirds, or just, but whatever it is, you always know because they're going to
because they like them.
Exactly, they're going to be flocking there. But it's always nice to see them. You know, pretty much all year round they're there. Not the flowers, but the hummingbirds are out there. But
so, you know, you talk about the ribes being a native, but also you have mahonias, and they are a native.
That's right, Oregon grape, beautiful yellow flowers, very much a great attractant for the bees and stuff.
And then we would be remiss to not mention this beauty. Tell me about it, because there's so many different kinds now.
That's right, there's variegated leaves, they have some pink, new ones all the time actually, William, but this one's a dwarf compact one, so there's one for every situation. But I think it's the abundance of flowers, they last so long. Bees just find a way to always come out there.
And we call it the lily of the valley shrub, but it actually is Pieris, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, they're wonderful plants.
They're in the rhododendron family there, and just grown same as the rhododendron or azalea.
And then there's, again, so many types of perennials that bloom. All of these varieties will be attracting pollinators to your garden.
That's right. You can get, well, if you coordinate it right, you can have them, you know, bloom at different times. There's all sorts of different things, purposes you can use. Short ones, tall ones, but that's what's nice about perennials. You know, there's just
there's always something there for
you. That's exactly right.
And you know, I have to say that one of the things too I love about pollinating plants is this is a Daphne.
Fragrance.
And the fragrance, so it appeals not only to hummingbirds and to insects and to bees, it appeals to us even more.
Yeah. That's Daphnes are one of the strongest to me, I think, and just hard to beat that one. You know, very fragrant.
Well, you know, we always talk about the beauty of pollinator plants in the garden and the benefit it can bring to all of us. So for more information, go to gardentime.tv. We're going to click you over to their website, then come on up here and come to Sagawa's and pick out some wonderful pollination plants for your own space. Thank you so much, Brian.
Thanks, William.
William, this pink Elizabeth lilac is divine.
And you know, when you make it out here to the Hulda Klager Lilac Gardens, it is just one of the hundreds of lilacs that you can not only see, but smell.
And the event goes through Mother's Day.
So for more information on this wonderful event, or for anything you've seen on the show today, as always, we say go to gardentime.tv.
William and I thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week here on Garden Time.
The proceeding was a paid program of the Guston Creative Group and its sponsors.